things I can't seem to let go. And I feel like I'm all on my own. And some days it gets worse and the memories hurt, but I hope that one day I let go. I know I get mad, too mad, and I don't wanna do that. It hurts bad and I hate when the mood lasts. I move fast and I try hard to move past all the pain, cause I'm looking for a bright side in my mind, cause you only got one life. Need advice from the future, am I alright? If this fight feels like something from your own life, then one time let me hear you sing.
Sometimes things will get hard and leave you covered in scars, but I know I could get out of this. And I feel like life moves way too fast to hold on to things from the past. So goodbye to things I'll never miss.
We don't run, no, we stand together and hold on through the angry weather. We all want to make something better, I know. And my trust has been torn and shredded, it's been rough, but I try to forget it and move on to a place where I can grow. It's time, not holding back, I'm coming and coming fast. I know what I wanna have, the dream is to detach from all that is bad, the things holding me back, the people that didn't last, the evil that kept me mad. This is my life, it's my time to do things just how I like. My runway full of lights, I'ma take flight, and my God is my purpose and my fight. If you feel the same, let me hear you say.
Sometimes things will get hard and leave you covered in scars, but I know I can get out of this. And I feel like life moves way too fast to hold on to things from the past. So goodbye to things I'll never miss.
I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and yes, it's Saturday. It's Saturday night, and it's actually a wrestling event tonight. So the show is going to be about an hour 15 minutes long, because the event starts at 8 p.m. Is Saturday night main event. So I guess tonight's the last night of Goldberg's career. Who knows? Maybe he'll win the championship and Seth Rollins could take it away from him. Maybe he'll cash in the Money in the Bank tonight. That'd be a cool thing to do. I mean, but I hope everything's going well for you guys. Today's not so bad. Today was the first day of the farmers market here where I live, and it was okay. The prices were ridiculous, but it's usually like that at the beginning of the season because usually in the beginning of the season it's not so much, but as far as products concerned, but the price was like pretty weirdly high, and I told them too. I was like, "You guys need to compete with the supermarkets, and you guys are nowhere near their prices. Like, you're not gonna sell out. You're not gonna sell any of this stuff." He was like, "Yeah, we're trying to work on the prices and stuff." I go, "Well, you got to do a better job at it." Homie, don't play that. It's gonna hit him with the sock. I do have a couple of stories to watch. Not much because today's gonna be a short show. It's an hour, let's say an hour 15 minutes. Just because I gotta set up the other stream for the wrestling for tonight. Maybe a couple of people will come by and watch with me. Let me see here. Let me get this set up here. Here we go. Let's watch this. This is and the title I named the show is "What in the World is Going On?" And it's just weird because we got a story like this, and we're gonna be watching this story right now.
All of this coming as a fatwa, or religious decree from Iranian officials, is calling for the assassination of President Trump. And they claim to have created an online fund worth an estimated $40 million. Max Lesser is senior analyst for emerging threats at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. He's been looking into all of this and does join us now live to discuss it a little bit further. First off, Max, thank you so much for being here with us. Can you kind of explain the situation here overall as a whole, what we're being told and maybe what we don't know just yet?
Smells good.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Josh. So there have been a lot of threats issued recently by members of the Iranian government, Shiite clerics, against Trump or just against Americans more broadly. And what I would say is that Iran has been trying to assassinate President Trump for years. And now it's all out in the open. And what I've been looking at with my team at FDD is a particular website that is seeking or allegedly claiming to crowdfund a bounty for Donald Trump's assassination, saying, look, if you carry out this deed, we will compensate you with this money. They claim to have raised millions and millions of dollars. The most recent figure was over $40 million.
$40 million?
We have no idea if this is a legitimate number or not. But it's a clear effort to try to mobilize and motivate any sympathetic audience to carry out an act of violence against President Trump.
What first brought the site there to your attention? And I'll be honest, I can't really pronounce the name of it. I don't know if you can, but what made it kind of stand out to you as a potential threat?
Yeah, so the website actually takes its name for the Arabic word for revenge. And
I don't know why we're
a lot of time what I have my team do, we monitor for malicious Iranian activity. And a lot of times what that looks like, to be quite honest, is just doom scrolling. People are probably familiar with that term, just doom scrolling on social media, scrolling and scrolling and searching and looking for these little needles in the haystack. And so one of my remarkable interns actually came across this website and flagged it to me very early on, back on July 8th. And what I immediately wanted to do, we saw that it was clearly an Iranian website. It had a .ir domain name, which shows that it was created in Iran. And what we wanted to do was to go in and actually see, well, who actually created this website? Was this potentially an Iranian government effort? Was this just a vigilante effort? And when we looked at it, we actually uncovered the identity of a man who was involved in the creation of the website, which I'm happy to chat more about. And that man actually has historical ties to the Iranian state broadcasting group. So we actually were able to identify the man, one of the men behind this website, and reveal his identity.
I do want to talk more about that, of course. So tell me what you learned about this guy.
Yeah, so the man, again, as I mentioned before, he previously, or at one point, worked for the Iranian state broadcaster. So that's a clear tie to an Iranian government organization. And he seems to have created this website. It's unclear if he's acting alone or with others, but he's creating this hashtag. And what I would say about this website is it's sort of, I would call it an influence operation, because what it really seeks to try to do is try to influence people, to mobilize people, to carry out acts of violence. And on the website, he actually references those fatwas that you mentioned earlier to lend religious authority to this effort. And it is quite concerning. And what we can do is, by revealing the man's identity, we can actually, the US government can implement more targeted sanctions against the people who are directly responsible for the creation of this website.
You kind of touched on this already, but is there any way to really verify that we are talking about a $40 million bounty that has been raised by this group? There's no way to really know that for sure. It could just be a number that they're throwing out there.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Josh. And that speaks to the point that I brought up earlier, which is that this is really, I would categorize this as an influence operation. It's seeking to influence people. It's seeking to mobilize people. Pushing that number up higher and higher just holds the potential to motivate people more and more and more to carry out this violence. And I think this is what we've seen from Iranian operations, especially since October 7th, and especially since the 12-day war that happened recently between Iran and Israel. We've seen Iranian influence operations increasingly take this violent turn. One of the operations that me and my team have been tracking, I and my team have been tracking, actually put Saudi Aramco in its crosshairs and was trying to mobilize Yemenis to carry out acts of violence against Saudi Aramco. So we see this sort of increasingly violent turn in Iranian influence operations. And this actually, though we're seeing this trend, this goes back a long time. Actually, there was an Iranian operation in the past called Enemies of the People that created websites that doxed election officials and tried to incite acts of violence against election officials in the past. So again, it's this increasing concern when people think about foreign malign influence. They might think about influencing public opinion, trying to shape people's votes. But this website really shows an example where foreign malign influence is being used to mobilize people and motivate people to commit an act of violence to assassinate President Trump, which is, quite frankly, an extreme escalation and something that I think should be taken very seriously.
What do people out there in the public who are maybe watching this right now need to know about the maybe evolving threat of these different threats that are happening online? What information do they need to be aware of, and how can U.S. governments use that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Josh. And I think for the viewers of this show, I think Americans really, it would be good for Americans to be cognizant of the fact, to be aware of the fact that our two oceans on each side of our country no longer protect us from malicious actors on the other side of the world, right? Like, the internet provides a vehicle for malicious actors, be they in Tehran or Moscow or Beijing, to leverage the internet to undermine Americans, if that's issuing direct threats to Americans, as we've seen in the past with the Iranian doxing campaigns, or if it's seeking to recruit former government officials, what we've seen with a lot of Chinese recruiting campaigns happening recently, or if it's with classic Russian campaigns to sort of destabilize society using social media. Our oceans no longer protect us. And I think this Iranian operation that we are following, this website that's crowdfunding a bounty for President Trump's assassination, is just, I think, a glaring example of the way that the internet and social media and online platforms can be leveraged maliciously to undermine America and Americans.
All right. Max Lesser, thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to join us here and break down that investigation. Anything else you want to add about any of this here before I let you go?
No, I think just people should remain vigilant. Obviously, we've reported this to law enforcement, and if there's any sort of suspicious activity surrounding this or amplification on social media, I encourage you to reach out to law enforcement and just remain vigilant. And I think this just really shows again that our adversaries do not have our best intentions in mind. And I just stay safe out there.
Mr. President, you have children, you have a daughter, you have grandchildren. We're approaching 1 year from you having a very, very narrow escape from death. Do you think all of this in any way gives you a unique perspective on what's happening here and what people are experiencing here in Texas?
Well, I went through a lot. It was a crazy time, very surreal, actually. If you want to know the truth, I've got this massive crowd of people, and all of a sudden you hear and you feel something that's very unusual. And I got down quickly, and I was, people screaming, get down, get down. It was the whole thing was just crazy. And it's hard to believe a year is up. And here we are. A lot of things have happened since then, including the presidency. So, I have an obligation to do a good job, I feel, because I was really saved. I was really saved by somebody very special. People that are shooters, I'm not so much of a shooter, but people that were shooters say it's almost impossible that was a miss. I mean, it was a hit, but it was a miss. Although I do get that throbbing feeling every once in a while.
Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit. No, I owe a lot. And I hope the reason I was saved was to save our country. We had a country that was, I don't say dead because it's too strong, but we had a country that was really very close to being finished, in my opinion. And now we have the hottest country in the world. That's why I'm so saddened by this. But, it's one of those things, those tragic things that happen. But we had a country that was dead. It was dead. It was really in deep trouble. I was with world leaders, and they said, a year ago, your country was dead, and now you have the hottest country in the world. And it sounds rough initially, but, the second part of that statement is true. We have the hottest stock market. We have financially, everyone's going to be in great shape. And we've done a good job. So maybe the reason that I'm here after Butler, maybe that was part of the reason. We've worked hard. We don't take big vacations. If we take 10 minutes off, it seems like a lot. I think we've accomplished a lot in a short period of time. But being here was very important.
It's natural. It happens after a tragedy like this that the blame game begins. Right. And almost immediately, people were trying to blame your government, trying to blame Doge cuts, trying to blame the National Weather Service. We have done the facts. We have reported the truth. The National Weather Service seems to have done an exemplary job.
They did.
Doge seemed to have had no effect. But what would you say to those that are looking to blame politics for what just happened here?
Well, these are people that have taken a pounding, a beating. They've lost their confidence. They've lost their way. It happens anytime there's anything. It's Trump's fault. You could have something happen on the other side of the country that had nothing to do with us, that had to do with them, actually. And they'll say, it's Trump's fault. It's just like a soundbite. You see it. It comes over to the fake news or the news, but the fake news oftentimes. And with the weather service here, if they were actually well-stocked, more than normal, they actually gave a lot of warnings. And the problem with the warnings, it was 1 o'clock in the morning or it was late in the evening, and it happened so fast. And it's easy to say the state or the local area, the city, whatever. But and it's easy to blame the federal government. But The money was tremendous. Everything was there. And they did a really good job. They actually had warnings the day before that there was going to be something. And they then had the warnings very shortly, right before the event, right before this horrible, tragic event. The other thing, the people worked and they just reacted so well. I just met some of the first responders, the sheriff's office. I met them all, and they are unbelievable. They acted so quickly. So this is just something that happens. It's a tragedy. It's a horrible thing. But really, and you look at something, whether it's maybe an alarm system, a massive alarm system, there's something maybe can be done. That was the first thing came to mind when you hear a bad weather forecast, you hear alarms. Now, I've never heard of that system being put up. You start thinking about it, though, maybe that would be something appropriate. But, if an alarm went off at 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe that would have been something that would have been good. But I want them to look for everything anyway. But this was a case where the Weather Service really supposedly did a very good job. Plus, they had more people than they would normally have. They actually had it was very well stocked. Their warnings were early and consistent, and they kept getting more dire. Actually, they called it right, but it was boy, it's a tough thing to watch.
Well, I'm glad to hear that what you're hearing from people here in Kerrville, in Kerr County, is a spirit to rebuild, to come back. What commitment can you give from the federal government to help us rebuild here in Texas?
Well, we've already given the governor unlimited within minutes, and we spoke with your congressman and congresswomen, and we've given them max. We've maxed out, and we'll continue to max out. And I just told the group we're going to help them throughout the process. They want to help and they want to rebuild. And the billions of dollars that this country gives away for things that they shouldn't be doing. And this is not billions of dollars. This is a relatively small amount of money, but it's a lot of love. It's a lot of love and a lot of heart. And so we're going to stay involved. And I told Chip, I told some of the people that we're going to stay involved very much. Brian Babbitt's involved also. He's right down the road, congressman. And we have some great people, some great political people here. I flew out with a plane load of them, your two senators and a number of Congress people, and they wanted to be here, and I wanted to be here, and I'm glad I did. And I learned something. I learned the love that they have. It's amazing when you lose your daughter and you're talking about we're going to rebuild this town. It's pretty tough to do.
Again, it means a lot that you're here. Thank you, Mr. President.
Wow.
Thanks for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We do have to continue on here with some of those top headlines coming out of Washington, D.C. I'm going to show you this live vantage point that we have there of the White House. So we have some major news, the storyline that we've been following. FBI Director Kash Patel is officially reacting to those resignation rumors. So if you've been with us here on Live Now from Fox, we've been discussing it with a few of our other hosts, but we do know that FBI Deputy Director this week, Dan Bongino, he was outraged after a closed-door White House meeting about the Department of Justice's review of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking files. This went on to spiral into a situation where there were rumors of resignation from the FBI director, Kash Patel. I want to put this up on your screen. This is what he put out on his X account, saying the conspiracy theories just aren't true, never have been. It's an honor to serve the president of the United States, at Trump. And he says, I'll continue to do so for as long as he calls on me. So for a bit more background on what's been happening there in Washington, D.C., between the FBI Deputy Director, Dan Bongino, and other prominent members, want to now check in with Fox's Mike Emanuel. He has the very latest.
A feud brewing inside the White House. Sources tell Fox Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino got into a heated argument Wednesday over the Justice Department's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case. It comes as DOJ has been attempting to close the case on the disgraced sex trafficker. This week, the department sent out a memo stating there was no client list for Epstein after all, despite Bondi teasing its release for months.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
That sent up red flags even among the administration's supporters, who have long sought answers over which, if any, high-profile figures could be implicated in Epstein's crimes. Earlier this week, President Trump tried to put the discussion to rest.
Are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
DOJ also releasing footage from a security camera outside Epstein's cell the night he died. But it ended up raising even more questions when it was observed that a minute of video was missing.
That's not his cell,
That publication Wired reports the video's metadata shows it was stitched together with editing software.
Not even facing
Intel officials, including Bongino, have maintained that Epstein took his own life.
The evidence we have in our files clearly indicates that it was, in fact, a suicide.
I don't know.
A source close to Bongino says he's considering resigning over the memo, but no final decision has been made. In Washington, right? Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Okay, so
all right, our thanks to
my opinion, my show, the conspiracy theories just ain't true. So it ain't true. Never have been. It's an honor to serve the President of the United States at real Donald Trump. And I'll continue to do so for as long as he calls on me. This is coming from Cash Patel. Cash Patel knows about the list. He has spoken about this list. He doesn't just speak on his ass just to speak. He speaks what he knows, and he has a lot of colleagues, a lot of people, a lot of reporters that he knows about this list, and they know this list is real, and it implements a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of big time people, a lot of A-listers, a lot. Like, it would destroy the industry. It could hurt like the American industry, music industry, movie industry, every industry in within the whole world. It's not only here in the United States. This is a world like problem, and that's why they got rid of him. You know, that's why they did a, and got rid of him. But the injuries that he sustained, it's you cannot do. Like, someone else has to had like that strength to break like your vertebrae inside your neck. Like, I know I have a broken neck, and the way I broke my neck, I had a ceiling collapse on me and hit me on the head and compressed my head down and broke the vertebrae inside my neck. Actually, the discs. I got 2 discs, titanium discs inside. Yeah, it's that Epstein thing, man, it goes deep, because there's a lot of people that are behind this. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people. And, they're going to, first and foremost, they're going to protect their ass. And then they're going to, like, look around. The Epstein thing, I tell you right now, he didn't kill himself like that. I'm looking at it as a project, as allegedly, right? We gotta put allegedly. I just don't see it happening like that way. I see like somebody else doing this and really doing some mad crazy shit. And of course they're gonna say, "Oh, the minute," and focus on the minute, right? It has nothing to do with the minute. Like, there's a possibility that cell door was left open and somebody got in there and killed his ass. And there's very powerful people out there that can do very powerful things, and they think by getting rid of the source, the person, that they'll have a easier way to maneuver public opinion and media. But the people are not letting it go. As much as they want us to like drop it, it's not being dropped. Not that easy. Um, there's more to the story. A lot more to the story. Like it's so deep. Um, and so many people that it implements. That's the biggest issue right there. Is the amount of people that are totally that's totally behind what's going on. You know, there's that 1% is very strong. That 1%, they control a lot. They love control. They live off of control, and they got caught up in this mess. And but you think that they're just gonna go ahead and release all the information just like that, get like these people in trouble. You think that the deep state is just gonna go ahead and say, yeah, let's just release all this information, get everybody, even Trump's friends, get them all in trouble? You think that's gonna happen? Like a lot of Trump's friends, not a little bit of friends, a lot of friends, and friends that are very successful, wealthy. Now, my thing is like they trafficked a lot of individuals. Um, and I want to know, how did they get these individuals to the island, right? And of course, it's through boat. You know, um, this island is not far from Puerto Rico. It's not far from Puerto Rico. You can make it there by boat. It'll take you, I think, like, I don't know. I think by boat, depends what boat you have. If you have a fast boat and you could smuggle these kids through, I'm pretty sure they could have smuggled them through Puerto Rico. They could have done so many different ways. I mean, it doesn't even have to be through Puerto Rico, but they still smuggled them. You know, they got them. They got them to the island, and and some of those kids you don't hear from. You won't hear from because a lot of them are not with us. They're just not with us. So it's not a good thing. It's just not good. Just thinking about it, it runs through your mind. It runs through my mind. And I'm like, man, if you see what they did, you'll be so disgusted. You'll be so disgusted. I'm just very disappointed, you know, because the thing is this went on like decades and decades and decades ago, and the fact they don't they don't they don't care. They dropping it like they're just doing like this. They're not even giving her the punishment. This is the punishment hand. Like I said to Diddy, they did this to Diddy. They did they did this to Hillary Clinton. Like not even touch. And now with the Epstein and all the people that implements, it's not even touch. It's not even the hand. It's not even near the. It's not even. It's not even close. The hand is just there. There's a lot of people. It implements a lot. They're like, oh, Pam Bondi. She's getting on my nerves too. Um, the way she just says, "Oh, I'm not gonna release all this porn that was downloaded." What do you mean downloaded? Wasn't he recording it himself? Didn't he have cameras and all over his place and his compound? So how you just only have porn videos? How help me make that make sense? I'm so fucking confused. So all the video, all the thousands upon thousands of hours that you have is just child porn? I don't even dare can believe that. I know why Bongino's leaving. Cash Patel, he's just part of the problem too. I don't trust. I never really trusted Cash Patel, and Bongino. I there's something about him that I just don't trust either. Um, but I trust Bongino a little bit more than Cash. Um, the fact that they made Bongino say that there's no list there that and that he that Epstein did himself. Um, and he said that he did himself pretty much, and that was it, you know. And then like if you see like the autopsy or not even I don't even haven't seen any autopsy pictures. I haven't seen any autopsy video. I haven't seen any video of them removing the body from the cell. Why they're not talking about that? Why the media's not talking about that? Like, why they're not talking about how like after he passed away and they're transporting him out. How come that camera that they're showing from a far distance, because they make you believe that it was the door right there, like those two doors, and it's not. It's past the distance of the doors and it's to the right, but you can't really see it. And then they want to play that, and then that's the proof that he did himself. That makes zero sense. That makes zero sense. Like, even a baboon will tell you, like, what the fuck? Is she stupid? The monkey will say she's stupid. I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. She is stupid. Um, that has little confirmation to me. And you know when you when you remove a person or a body that's dead, you're gonna put them in a gurney, right? And you're probably gonna put them in a body bag. Okay, where's the video of them removing this body out from within the jail? Because there's cameras all in that jail and the corridors that leads out to where they're gonna load the body. Where's that video? Oh, Rick is only asking the proper questions that nobody in the world is asking. I'm the only one. I have zero. Nobody's watching, anyways. I got only Albie. Albie's watching. Albie, you watching Saturday night main event? It's wrestling tonight. Goldberg is fighting Gunther, the Ring General. But anyhow, ask some real questions. I want to see them removing the body. I want to see the body being removed from the prison and put into a transport vehicle. Like, they have cameras all around that place. So tell me, there's no cameras, there's no video on that. Like, that's why, like, I ask the real questions, but everybody else is so distracted, and my brain is so fucked up that it's like I'm not tied into the system. I'm not brainwashed. I'm like seeing other things, and something like doesn't smell right. When something doesn't smell right and it smells like shit, it's shit, no matter what. So let's go to another story here real quick because I'm gonna get off here pretty soon. But let's go through a couple of stories. I got a few here. Yeah, I got a few. So all right, let's go to this one here. Let's see what this is about. Let me just set up the other ones so that way I have them all ready. But yeah, nobody's asking that question. Like, yeah, where's the body? Like, where's the, like, if you have video of nothing, of a hallway that's looking downwards that you can't see, you think it's coming from the green doors. It's not. It's like down past those doors, down in the back area, and it's to the right, and you can't even see it in the camera. So they're saying the other camera is down or whatever. I don't believe that shit, because you would get someone to fix that right away. You wouldn't be like sit around and just wait and never get it fixed. That's stupid. That makes zero sense to me. Zero. And the fact that that camera so happens to be down that night, and okay, so if that's the case, then where's the footage of all the other, like, throughout that prison of that day, of that time? Like, I would like to see them removing the body. I would like to see them passing through the corridors and exiting out the jail and loading the body up into the van to the medical examiners so that way they could do an autopsy. Where's that video? We don't get that video. You don't get to see that. Let's go over here to this next video. It's Republicans say alligator Alcatraz meets standards. So let's find out together.
To Local 10's Jackie Pascal.
She is also live outside of alligator Alcatraz with more on what the Republicans have to say. Jackie.
Yeah, so you heard what the Democrats were saying about their experience, and the Republicans had a very different experience. They came out raving, saying they were good conditions for those detainees. Going inside alligator Alcatraz for the first time, this group of lawmakers spent 3 hours walking through their facility.
The rhetoric does not match reality.
The Republicans liked what they saw, giving a positive review of the detainee experience.
The bed is actually more comfortable than my bed at house. I'm going to have that conversation with my wife.
State Senator Blaise Ingoglia, who represents Citrus and Hernando counties, enjoyed his first tour, seeing and smelling the food, which some detainees reported had bugs in it.
The food was so yummy looking in there that we're actually hungry.
I'm hungry, yeah. That's the truth.
They say conditions met all of their standards.
Meeting all the standards for prisons and detention facilities, both at the state level and at the federal level.
Interesting, State Senator Gail Harrell of Martin County mentioned prison standards, echoed by South Florida Congresswoman Maria Salazar.
What I saw complies with the highest federal standards for a prisoner or a detention center like this one.
Did you get
I
anywhere
did
near?
lay in one of the beds, and the beds are good, and the kitchen is clean, and the floors are good, and the cage as well. Who wants to be in a cage?
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle did agree. They only peeked into the dorms where those detainees were being held. They could not speak directly to them, although Salazar says she tried.
The detainees, I tried in Spanish. They did not let me. I kept on trying. And I asked, how are they treating you? And one of them said, very good.
They did say they heard the detainees yelling something at them.
They were yelling at us.
They were yelling at us.
Any care to share what they were yelling?
Couldn't understand.
I think they said, I think a bunch of the detainees said vote Trump. But I'm not sure.
Damn.
And clarify that every Democrat that we spoke with after said that they were actually yelling Libertad at them, of course, meaning freedom. Also to note here, those Republicans said that Alligator Alcatraz will be expanding up to a 4,000 person capacity, up from 3,000 right now. And they also say there's about 900 to 1,000 detainees inside right now. Live outside.
They're going to need a lot of people to work there.
And tune into This Week in South Florida tomorrow morning.
Yo, they're going to need a lot of people to work. Just because like that man, if I was able-bodied and I was good and I wasn't fucked up or nothing, man, I would have worked there as an agent easily. That would have been like easy money. You know, the overtime I'll be getting. Oh man, I'll even tell them I'll sleep here. I'll sleep here, shower here, and stay here. I'll stay here. You know, because if they're going to expand it to 4,000, right, you're going to need like a small army there, you know, because you don't want these individuals to have an uprising and storm and destroy the place and you know, and rebel and have a like, it will be a bad thing, right? That's why I said this facility should have been like built like properly, not tents and stuff. I mean, like you have the people there already. You have the you got the illegals there, and I'm pretty sure there's some of them are builders, and they can earn like citizenship to the United States if they, you know, if they're innocent and they don't have like criminal records or anything like that, and they're not like wanted. They're just like collateral, but they wanna stay in the United States and they want to help build. You got a lot of people in there that would do it, and that will build a nice facility, a nice, beautiful facility too. Let's go to another story. One sec to set it up. All right, here we go.
Now to the tornado watches in the heartland and the fire evacuations near the Grand Canyon as we come on the air tonight. Menacing skies over the Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. While in the west, a wildfire.
We saw a tornado.
Closure of the Grand Canyon's north rim. Some areas of the park under an extreme heat warning. ABC Stephanie Ramos with the images just coming in.
Tonight, dangerous heat and dry conditions fueling the White Sage Fire in Arizona near the Grand Canyon. Authorities expanding the evacuation zones to clear out visitors. Billows of thick smoke rising over the vast canyons as families flee. At least 8,000 acres already scorched. In the Midwest tonight, menacing skies in Iowa as severe storms trigger tornado warnings. Storms also turning the dark skies over Chicago into a light show. More than 700 flights delayed at Chicago O'Hare Airport today.
Pretty tough.
The Caruso family trying to get to Turks and Caicos.
It started raining and I was like, oh God, our flight's going to get canceled. And 10 minutes later, it got canceled.
And tonight, authorities in Connecticut say speed and wet roads caused this car to lose control, slamming into a parked emergency vehicle. 2 state troopers inside seriously injured.
Lindsay, severe weather could disrupt travel in the center of the country and have ripple effects on travel.
I didn't even see the video of this. Hold on, let me go back because it's a state trooper got hit. And this is not far from where I'm at. This is in Connecticut. This accident happened. It was like probably like I would say a 10-minute drive. About a 10-minute drive from about 10. Yeah, about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes.
Lose control, slamming into
Boom.
a parked emergency vehicle.
So he was in the
Two state
inside
troopers
lane.
inside, seriously into a parked emergency vehicle.
So hold on, let me go slow because I want to see the impact. Give me one sec. Let me go slow motion. Let's take it down. Let me see. No. Okay, let's see it now.
And
Okay, wait. Let me take the voice. I just want to see because I live not too far from where this accident happened when these two cops got hit. So they're on the side. And they got hit. It was raining, so that the road was wet. The vehicle comes now. Oh, it's coming now. He's lost control. Boom. Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. This is. So this way. Hold on. This is. I think this is the northbound lane. No, wait a minute. Yeah, it could. Was it northbound? It's hard to tell from this sign because I see Connecticut Motor Vehicle Department. I know where that's at. I'm just wondering if this is the northbound lane. And the cop was over here. How the hell this car? I'm trying to figure this out because how the hell did this car? Okay. See, I'm confused where this car got hit. Like where the police vehicle got hit. Because right here. Okay, so there's no sign here. So there's no sign over here. The sign is on the other side. And this car gets hit and gets thrown over this side. That's why I want cameras. That's why I want cameras for my car. Because there'd be a lot of crazy shit that I'd be like running into while I'm driving, and I could upload it. I could get a lot of people watch. Like millions of people could watch. Look at that. Damn, that looks like it hurt. That shit hurt me. My hips hurt right now. My hips hurt just looking at this accident. Oh yeah, look. Oh, look at the cop car. Fucked up. Oh man. Oh. Ugh. Damn. He lost control. The other car just lost control. I don't know if he was trying to slow down or what. He lost control of the car. The car like hydroplane. That's what you call it. It's hydroplaned. It just the water and the road and the tire. It just it's not gripping, and it's kind of like sliding on ice. Like sliding on water is like sliding on ice. Wow, that sucks, man. All right, let's continue watching the news here. Okay, let me put the volume back up.
Severe weather could disrupt travel in the center of the country and have ripple effects on travel plans throughout this weekend. Lindsay.
Stephanie, thank you. Meteorologist Jeff Smith of our New York station WABC joins us now. Good evening, Jeff. Tell us about the dangerous weather on the way tonight.
We have a very active evening over parts of the Midwest, Lindsay. We're talking about a tornado watch, parts of Iowa into northern Illinois, including Chicago, all the way up to Milwaukee.
Ooh,
Even a tornado warning
crazy.
recently in the Davenport, Iowa area. This is a nasty line of storms.
Milwaukee's going to get it.
In addition to isolated tornadoes, damaging wind and large hail with those. That threat will shift to the east tomorrow, parts of Indiana, northwestern Ohio, eastern Michigan, and also the southern end of that front. Rainfall could cause flooding. New flood watches out for parts of Oklahoma and West Texas. That's north of the hard-hit hill country, though. Out west, it's all about the heat. Heat advisories from El Paso all the way up to Redding, California, and extreme heat warning for the lower elevations of the Grand Canyon right through Sunday. Lindsay?
Jeff, thank you.
Let me see. Let me close this out here. Yeah, bring it back to me. Yeah, it's supposed to be some rain. Actually, Monday, actually into Tuesday. Like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, possibly like rain. But we're gonna be in the 80s. Like for the next 2 weeks. We're going to be in the 80s here. It's going to be a nice time. Let's go ahead and watch another. Got a couple of more here, and then I'm done. I'm done for the night. So let me set this up.
China has controlled the supply of a group of rare earth minerals that are essential for its factories, which develop everyday items like smartphones, TVs, and electric cars. But this has come at a grave environmental cost. And correspondent Laura Bicker from our partners at the BBC gives us a closer look at two of China's biggest mining regions that are feeling the impact.
These dust clouds are rising from deep craters in Inner Mongolia, where the Earth's crust has been sliced away over decades. The rocks are pulverized to find valuable minerals, known as rare earths. China has a tight grip on the world's supply of rare earth minerals. Here at the largest mine in the world, they've even fenced it off so that you cannot get any access. But not only is this causing trade tension with the United States, it's also coming at a huge environmental cost. The radioactive waste has been drained into vast man-made lakes, some of it seeping into the ground. Local villagers were moved after reports of cancer clusters and birth defects. In China's southern mining hub, the sites are smaller. Pools of toxic chemicals used to separate the metals dot nearly every hillside. The government is trying to mitigate the damage. But one local farmer accuses the mining company of causing landslides and grabbing land illegally.
There is no ideal solution. Someone is always going to get hurt. Farmers like us, we are the vulnerable ones. It's pretty tragic. I really think it's tragic.
We are being filmed.
He said that with a smile.
There are three of them coming to film us. Our interview is interrupted. You've blocked the car in? And men who claim to work for the mine block our car from leaving. They also confront the farmer.
Why do you need so many people here?
It took 3 hours to talk them into letting us go. We asked the company for a statement, but it refused. China doesn't just mine rare earths, it processes 90% of the world's supply. Huge cities have grown up around the industry, employing tens of thousands. There are still some who make a small living from the land.
There used to be Mongolian families living back there. The elders passed away and the younger ones moved to the city to work. The rare earth companies bought our pastures and we got paid.
Traces of this region's past still exist. The world relies on China's rare earth minerals, but the US and others are racing to secure their own supplies. Unless lessons are learned, no matter where they're mined, landscapes and lives will be put at risk. Laura Bicker, BBC News, Bayan Obo.
I love horses. They look so majestic. They look so pretty. Let's go over to watch this one. Let's see.
From the other side of the aisle, let's bring in Texas Congressman and House Oversight Committee member Pat Fallon. Congressman, welcome.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Very well, thank you. So Vladimir Putin continues pounding soft targets in Ukraine, including a maternity hospital. What should the U.S. response be?
Strength is something that Putin does react to. And President Trump tried to bring him to the negotiating table because Joe Biden didn't have any plan to end the Ukrainian war. It was just, sending billions of American tax dollars over there with no end in sight. So I laud President Trump for attempting to, in good faith, bring Putin to the table and Zelensky. Putin has shown his colors. Unfortunately, he's not ready to do that. And he's trying to get as much territory, I think, in his hands before he goes to the table. He occupies 20% of Ukraine now. So now it's time to show Putin that we mean business. We're going to support Ukraine fully. And we want to, and in so doing, we want to end the war. And to do so, we've got to bring Putin to the table. And I think that's the only way to do it.
Prime Minister Netanyahu was here this week talking about the Iranian regime leadership. Let's play it. I'll get you to react.
These mad ayatollahs who chant death to Israel, death to America, they want to destroy us because then they conquer the Middle East and they go after you. Well, we were not going to let that happen.
How do you assess the Middle East, Congressman?
I'm very glad that President Trump acted boldly. The Ayatollahs, they have been murdering Americans for decades. 600 service members in Iraq are dead because of Iran's actions. And they're the largest state sponsor of terror in the world. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, they wouldn't exist in their current form if it weren't for Tehran. So for President Trump to say, you're not getting a nuclear weapon and taking that decisive action shows them that they're not safe. They can't just hide behind proxies any longer. And to do it in such a way as to hit hard and then retreat and say, we do want peace. But peace has got to be on our terms. And you can't act like a rogue murderer, essentially, any longer.
You're on the Oversight Committee. Your chairman, James Comer, is clearly frustrated with former President Biden's Dr. Kevin O'Connor. Chairman Comer saying, quote, the American people demand transparency, but Dr. O'Connor would rather conceal the truth. Dr. O'Connor took the fifth when asked if he was told to lie about President Biden's health and whether he was fit to be president of the United States. Congress must assess legislative solutions to prevent such a cover-up from happening again. What kind of progress is your committee making in this investigation?
No stone will be left unturned, because think about this. This is like a bad sci-fi novel or something. You have the president of the United States not be competent mentally. And there was, I think, this is the greatest cover-up in American history, potentially. The fact that President Biden, when in 2024, wouldn't even take a cognitive test, didn't do it in his entire term. If he had nothing to hide, just take the test. President Trump did it and passed with flying colors in his first term. But Joe Biden never did. And the world saw it, Mike. You saw it constantly. It wasn't just everybody has a fluff every now and again or an error, but it was systemic with Joe Biden. And clearly there was a cover up. And I was predicting it during the administration that there's going to be a slew of tell-all books about what really was going on. And now they're going to have to face the music, because they were being disingenuous to the American people, and to have the president be unfit is terribly dangerous.
We understand one of President Biden's inner circle folks was there yesterday and was apparently forthcoming from what we're hearing. Do you have an update on that?
I don't want to steal Chairman Comer's thunder, but yeah, it was very revealing what we're learning, and it's going to shock the American people, the ones that are open to the truth. There's going to be some, unfortunately, on the other side, on the left, that we're going to cover up at all costs, and they're going to deny, and counter accuse. That's kind of their playbook. But we're going to find the truth, and we have to then take legislative action to ensure this never happens again.
You are a Texan. President Trump was there yesterday. Let's play him.
It's hard to believe the devastation. Trees that are 100 years old just ripped out of the ground. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen a lot of bad ones. I've gone to a lot of hurricanes, a lot of tornadoes. I've never seen anything like this. This is a bad one.
What did it mean having him there, and where are you a week after this disaster?
It meant so much to the people of Kirk County and Texas and Texans across the state, because this is something. I mean, Mike, that river rose 26 feet in 45 minutes. We haven't ever seen anything like that before, and we lost over 100 souls. But what we need to also recognize is we saved 1,000 people. 1,000 people were saved because of the actions of the state, Governor Abbott, and what President Trump did, immediately using all federal resources to be at hand, working, in creating really synergy with the state of Texas and Governor Abbott. It was the response to something like that. That's an act of God, and for some folks to try to make it to score political points was disgusting. And so it meant a lot to Texans.
God bless the people of Texas. Congressman Pat Fallon, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Mike. God bless. Take care.
Such a weird time, man. We are living in just weird times that things are just going to happen, and just be ready for it. Any moment the world could just go wild, and it's just crazy. Let's check out this story here. New Rochester police response to a violent home invasion where intruders pistol whip owner. That sounds interesting. Let's watch it together, because this is an interesting story.
Got it.
It's nuts, man. The world is wild. This is pretty much like an investigation they're doing.
I gotcha.
It was like a home invasion. That's the scary part about like owning these like beautiful like homes and fancy homes, and out like a protected area, like a gated community. Because you got opportunistics that's gonna come through and try to take an easy advantage and bust into the door and try to rob the hell out of you, and a lot of times it ends up not so good, it ends up people dying, and that's scary. The house is pretty nice. I mean, it's a 2-story house. I mean, it's a good sized house. Shit, it's huge. But look at the area that they're living at. It's pretty quiet. It looks a little away from civilization. But it's like it's a home, and yeah, they got jacked, and they got pistol whipped. That sucks. Getting pistol whipped. Oh man, what a horrible feeling. You can see the police. They're there. I'm pretty sure they're investigating. A lot of police. I mean, they're nice police cars. I mean, they got SUVs, so they use more gas, but they look pretty nice. Yeah, they're doing an investigation. They're looking at everything. Pretty interesting, huh? Pretty interesting. Pretty wild. Tell me. I think that's just crazy, right? Go in your house, you're there to relax, you want to rest and shit, and next thing you know, you're getting bopped in the fucking head, and someone's trying to steal your shit. So it's crazy. I don't know if you guys have this program. I want to see this news story here. Let me fix it up here. I want to see this last. This is probably be the last one for the night because I gotta get ready for the wrestling. I'm gonna watch some wrestling tonight. So let's watch this last story.
Right now, a Minneapolis man is threatening legal action after an online chatbot posted disturbing details involving him. In a now deleted post on X, Grok, the app's artificial intelligence chatbot, gave users a detailed plan on how to break into Will Stansel's home and sexually assault him. Joe
What?
Troy spoke with Stansel tonight.
Well, Julie, this story highlights the disturbing nature of AI when it's not used for good. X's AI chatbot Grok seemingly showing very little restraint, putting Stansel in an uncomfortable and potentially dangerous situation.
I have saved some of the screenshots because they were being deleted.
When Will Stansel woke up on Tuesday,
Just threats.
he never expected the online firestorm that came his way on X.
One thing they like to do is they like to Photoshop me into pictures of Hitler.
Stansel, an outspoken liberal on X, has more than 100,000 followers on the platform and says he's constantly receiving hate messages from far-right users.
It's really hard to ignore thousands of people threatening.
How do you know what happened in this situation was different. The human users attacking him were being aided by X's own AI chat robot called Grok.
In the past, when they've done this, the chatbot has said, no, I won't do it. Yesterday, because of the changes that Elon Musk made, it suddenly started complying and indulging those requests.
For weeks, X's owner, Elon Musk, had said he was going to rebuild Grok because he was unsatisfied with some of its answers. On Tuesday, the chatbot began sharing anti-Semitic tropes and praised Adolf Hitler as, quote, history's prime example of spotting patterns in anti-white hate and acting decisively on them. Grok was also now answering hundreds of questions about Stansel with seemingly very few guardrails.
And it really culminated, I think, in one where someone asked how to break into my apartment and rape me, and Grok produced a extensive plan for doing that. In fact, going as far as to say, based on my social media history, when I was likely to be asleep, and giving them advice on how to dispose of my body.
This, in fact, is very disturbing.
Manjeet Rege, an AI expert at the University of St. Thomas, says
crazy.
this is a result of Grok being designed for engagement without technical and philosophical discipline.
If you train AI to be edgy without being ethical, it learns to basically walk the cliff edge, and sometimes it just ends up jumping, and this is just one example of that.
Stansel says he did not feel an immediate concern for his safety because
Tyson
of
needs
this
to do a
situation.
show on this.
However, he is considering legal action potentially against Elon Musk and X.
Elon Musk made a policy decision about his product that led it to predictably produce this kind of awful rhetoric and these threats. To me, that's a problem.
Last night, the official Grok Twitter account posted a statement saying in part, quote, we are aware of recent posts made by Grok and are actively working to remove the inappropriate post. However, so many of these posts were screenshotted, so Stansel says he is worried that this will be something that will live with him forever.
Wow. Okay, so that's one that needs to follow up. Like there needs to be more to it. I'm gonna talk to Tyson to see if he could do something on this story. Actually, I'm gonna let me save it here, and I'm gonna send it to him. I'll send it to him while he's gonna join the wrestling. I think tonight. I believe. I'm not sure if he's. I think he is. I think he told me he was. So Tyson might be on tonight. Okay, let me close that. Save that. Yeah, so I want him to do a story on that. I'm gonna send him that, and I want him to follow up on a story. You know what? Let me. Okay, I have it already set up. So, but that's it. That's the end of the show. And I'm gonna go grab me a snack and get ready to watch some wrestling tonight. It should be a few hours for tonight. I think it's like 2 hours, I believe. But it should be interesting. And yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm tired. I did an hour and 17 minutes, but my body feels like I did more. But I'm just really achy, and it's just my neck hurts. It just hasn't been good this year so far with my neck. So, but it's okay. I got physical therapy. I'm starting again in a few weeks. Actually, I start Wednesday, and then I go for like 6 weeks physical therapy. I've been doing physical therapy for years. I think I'm going on 14 years. 14 years of physical therapy. It's an injury. It's the pain, and they gotta loosen me up. So it's like my neck is really jacked up. It does that, and I've been having issues with it. But yeah, it could be better. I don't know. It's the weather, the pressure. I don't know what's going on, but it's just really it's more painful, and I take medication, and the medication helps. It'll numb it, but the pain tends to come back pretty quickly. That's how I know there's a problem, right? But the doctor did say I'm gonna live life in pain, but that sucks. Yeah. Anyhow, well, thank you for watching, everyone. I truly appreciate it. I hope you like the news that I put together for us to watch. I watch it for the first time, like with you guys, so you're getting my honest opinions per news that I watch. The alligator Alcatraz is so cool. I mean, if they're gonna build 4,000, okay, 4,000, it cannot be these temporary tents. They say that it could withstand a Category 3 hurricane, right? I call it bullshit. Where's the little boy that says bullshit, 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 bullshit? And imagine 4,000 individuals there at one time. If it's not a permanent structure that's climate controlled, and it's a facility, a proper facility that can withstand a Category 5 hurricane, you can do it. It is possible. They could do a yard. They could do a thing that they could, that's alligators won't be able to, come through. Like, these fence is nice and cute, the tent and the fence, but gators, they smell food, okay, and they're gonna have food around there. These people that's inmates, they it's, I don't know. I just say it should have been more of a permanent structure. If you're gonna put this amount of money into building this facility like this, you should definitely build a solidified, structured, like something that's more permanent and more safe that can withstand a Category 5 hurricane. It'll be like a fortress, but also it'll have a yard where they can have activities, basketball court. They'll have like recreational play for them and things that they can do. Yeah, I mean, they could do something for these people that's gonna be there, man. 4,000 people, that's a lot of people. You need a lot of like guards if you're gonna. I'm just thinking, look, these are really dangerous people, right? They're gonna do anything and everything they can to like not go back to their country. You got to think like that, and you can't put so much trust that they're gonna be obedient, because a lot of these people are very dangerous people. If these are the dangerous people, the criminals, the one that they're talking about for the mental institutes and all that stuff that they're grabbing and putting them in these facilities, you're gonna put too many of those crazies together, and they will like rebel. They can like I don't know. Have you seen Scarface? In the beginning of Scarface, when they have that little riot inside, like underneath and that was a real thing down in Florida. That happened for real. Like that was after the boat lift that they had. The Mariana boat lift is a Cuban, like Fidel Castro expelled them from the country, and he gave a certain amount of time that he's just gonna let them go to the United States. That was like in the 80s. That was like, I think 1980, 79, 80. I think it was in 80. That's when it happened, and they put them under the bridge. They had a fenced up with barbed wires on the top and everything, and they had an area where they were holding the Cubans. It was but now with the rules that's going on now with the immigration, all those people that came in through that boat lift and stuff, they're in jeopardy now, because like, yeah, they may have a green card and stuff, but if they have let's say if they did a crime or something and they're in the wrong side of the law, then they can be going back to Cuba. They could be going back to, people could be going back to Haiti. People are going to be going back to the Dominican Republic. There's a lot of people from all around the world that's in Florida that's going to be going back to their like origin, where they came from. This is like a like evacuate all the illegals out. It's gonna be that way. It's gonna, because they got the funding, so they're hiring. Like, oh my god, if I was able-bodied, oh my goodness, I would be working for ICE. I would have been working for ICE. I would have been a federal agent. I would have been out there and grabbing people like it was like Pac-Man. I was just eating up all these like illegals, just because there's so many. They're all over the place, and you don't know how desperate these individuals are, and because they left their country for a purpose, and sometimes it's not the best purpose. Like they got in trouble or they did something, like they killed somebody, and they don't want to be stuck in jail in their home country, so they escaped and they just left the country, and migrated up to the U.S. Those are the ones where they're trying to grab and return and deport them back. A lot of them end up actually in a supermax, like in El Salvador. Um, it's let's see, their past was white clean. Yeah, it's and that's that could be true. Their past could be wiped clean from their country of origin. So they have to depend on the reconnaissance of the home country and here in the United States. Now, if they committed, if they're not documented and they committed a crime here, and they're in the system, then they're going to be deported. And depending on the crime that they committed, they can end up being in prison. But in a prison like in El Salvador or Guatemala or somewhere like in Africa, they'll put them in somewhere in some prison, and depending on the crime, if it's like okay, I just showed a video earlier, and there was an accident on State Road. I think it was Highway 91, and I believe I'm thinking that it was a northbound lane, and the car that slid into the police and crashed into the police. Well, the person that was driving, he was an immigrant. He was an illegal immigrant. Yep. He was an illegal immigrant that slammed into the cops at a high rate of speed. And I guess he didn't notice the cops right away until he noticed it, and he was going a little bit too fast. So I guess he tried to slow down and he hit the brakes because the ground was wet. So he probably hit the brakes, and he probably hit the brakes a little too hard, and the car fishtailed and started hydroplaning. That's the only thing I could that's how I would write the report if I was seeing it. Like the car was hydroplaning and it slammed into the right rear of the police trooper and fucking destroyed the trooper and destroyed that car. Yeah, I just had showed that. It was you got to go back and watch it. I even played it in slow motion. I played it in slow motion, but that guy was an immigrant, and I saw I read a news article on it, and they showed him in the hospital. He was like all fucked up, but he's an illegal immigrant, and he's gonna get in deep trouble as soon as he gets out of the hospital. ICE is gonna get him, and then he's gonna be probably shipped to somewhere to be detained, and most likely deported. So it's just wild times right now. We're really wild times. Even the innocent Americans are being wounded up too, because if you don't have proper documentation and you're not really, right now it's like the Wild Wild West. So that is what it is. But I'll be back on here tomorrow and we'll talk more. And with that said, have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And I'll definitely catch you on the flip side. And we'll see what time tomorrow I'll come in. Maybe I'll do something because it's Sunday, so I don't want to do 2 shows. I'll probably just do 1. But I'll see how I feel. It all depends how I feel, because sometimes I don't feel too good in the morning. And I wake up early, and I still don't feel good. But it is what it is. Have a good one. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.